Buenas noches, mi gente. Welcome in the hot seat, La Silla Caliente. Once again, we're bringing you guys exclusive artists, exclusive people that, you know what, we believe the community needs to get to know. How you been? It's been a while.
It has
Today
been
it's
a
going to be
while.
all in English. Not because it's a bad thing, but you know what? We got to change it up a little bit. We got to change it up a little bit. And we want to bring in a very special guest today. Met him a couple of weeks ago. He's got a huge smile on. The ladies love him, but more importantly, the Zumba community is all about him. So welcome in, Mr. Izzy Cervantes. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing amazing now that you're here with us. I heard through the grapevine that you've been doing this for quite some time.
Yes, I started when I was 16 years old. So right now I'm 30. I started back in 2011 and I got
Wow.
licensed to be a Zumba instructor when I was a junior in high school. So it's been quite a
Okay.
bit.
Okay. That's amazing to hear. It's nice to see that there's a younger generation still interested in Zumba, and to see that when you go to these events, it's nice to see when it's not just the moms and the grandmas, but it's the younger generation starting to come out to these things.
For sure. Yeah. I when I first started doing it, I thought it was just for grandmas. And and then the funny thing is I fell in love with it and here I am teaching Zumba.
What made you want to become a Zumba instructor, though? Because back then it was a thing, but there were other things that were more important at the time, more prevalent at the time than Zumba.
Well, you see, I started when Zumba was the boom in the U.S. It was like the hot thing to do. Like if you weren't doing Zumba, you were not cool, right? So it was back in 2010, and Zumba was taking over. My sister actually got licensed, and my mom too, and they were licensed for like a year before I took their Zumba class. And remember, like I said, I thought it was just like aerobics, like for me it was a little whack, and that's what got me into Zumba was my sister's class.
Okay, yeah, no. Here in Ottawa, the Zumba craze was a little bit, as with everything else, a little bit behind. But it's wild. It's wild how many people will come out to these events. It's and the one you were at here in Ottawa was one of the smaller ones I've seen.
Mm.
I've seen them go up to a couple of thousand people.
Wow.
And yes, it's the thing is, one of my cousins, she's an instructor in Toronto, so
Mm.
obviously it's a little bit different down there. But you guys don't come out just to say, "Hey, I'm here for my session." No, you guys come out as a community.
Right. Yeah, that's I mean Zumba now is just a worldwide phenomenon, right? So no matter where you go in the world, you can find Zumba classes, and we have a really strong bond. You meet another Zumba instructor and it's guaranteed that you're going to be friends with him just because you have that Zumba background, right? That Zumba love as a mutual thing. So we have a lot of instructors all over the world. So yeah, when we do events, we do them big. Absolutely.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, do you have a favorite instructor you like to work with, or uh, an instructor you want to work with?
Instructor, I work with a lot of my colleagues, and next week I'm actually going to be in Toronto, and I'm going to be working with another
Okay.
colleague. Her name's Anna Marchenko. So I love working with
Yes.
her. We do great. We're funny together. We do, a lot of work together. So really looking forward to that. Someone who I would love to work with. I just met him actually this weekend. His name's Tommy. Super amazing from Germany. I think I would love to collaborate with him. Great style. So it'd be pretty cool to see something together.
That's amazing. Yeah, I believe Live Love Dance has had Anna up here in Ottawa before, and you're right. She does have quite the spunk in her.
Yeah, spunk is the one word for it. She's she's very great dancer, right? But what I love about her is her personality. She's super funny, down to earth, and I love to work with people like that.
No, no, that's awesome. I mean, the Zumba community as a whole is very bright, very alive, very, and I'm not just talking about the clothing, because the clothing is nice and bright. I love it. That's one of my favorite things when I first started coming to do the audio and the video for Phil, and for Live Love Dance, was seeing the amount of bright colors.
Mm,
It's just unbelievable how bright you guys get, and the smiles amongst all of you.
yeah, you know what the good thing is about wearing these colorful clothing? Impossible to get ran over, right? Like, I mean, if you run over someone wearing a bright lime green tracksuit, then I'm worried for you, right? Like, it's like a nice way to prevent hazards.
Definitely, it is. I never thought about that, but it's true. It's so true. Now, you also do your own choreography. I've heard.
Yes, so I am a Zumba Jammer, and I specialize in making choreography, and I teach them to other Zumba instructors.
Okay, okay. And how did that come about? Why did you take that channel of it?
I just when I was as an instructor, I found a lot of passion for teaching, and I wanted to level up, right? Like, what is the next step that I can take in this path of Zumba? And then I learned that there was these things called Zin Jam sessions, and so I started taking them. I fell in love with the program, and later I found out there was a call for to be a Zumba Jammer, and it really is thanks to my community who pushed me to do it because I'm not a choreographer. The funny thing is, I don't come from the world of dance. I was always more like an athlete, then turned dancer versus dancer turned athlete, right?
Okay,
So my community pushed me. I was not a choreographer at the time, but I say, hey, if this is a way to, level up in my career, let's do it. And I took a chance, a leap of faith, and now here I am few years later, and I got to meet you in Ottawa. So it's pretty cool how things in life happen that way.
well, that's the whole thing. You never know what's going to happen when you lift up that stone, right? Different
Right.
opportunities come when you least expect it, but the smile and the vibe you bring is a little bit different.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I decided to approach you to see if we could interview you because, like I said, I work with Phil. We've done a bunch of events, but you and two or three others, I'm not going to mention names because I don't want anybody to be hating on Phil afterwards. But there's a couple of you that you guys are humble, you love your art, and the crowd loves you. There's no in between. Like the crowd legitimately loved you guys. And when I see this, actually, I'm going to say one of them. Mauricio actually got me to start doing Zumba one night at an event, and I'm like, I don't do this. This is not me. Like, stop. But Mauricio Camargo turned around and, like yourself, didn't matter what was going on, smiles, happiness, and humbled thoroughly. Why do you think that is? Why do you, some of you, inclusive, Beto Cuevas is extremely humble. Why do you think all of this comes about? The humbleness from all of you.
I don't know. I guess that's just a reflection of our character, of our upbringing. I mean, the reason I do this is to touch people's lives and to bring them a bit of happiness
Hmm.
about their day, right? Because, adult life is so crazy. We have so many worries. And the last thing that I want to do is, come to this event and bring like this huge diva personality because that's not what the people are there for. They're not there to worship
Yes, because a
us.
lot of them do.
Right? It's not about that, right? Like it's not about being a superstar. People see us as superstars. I don't know why, to be honest. And this is like a genuine thing. It's just I'm really an instructor coming to bring an experience to the people, right? And I just want people to come and get those good vibes because, like I said earlier, I'm all about good vibes, good energy. I really believe in all of that stuff. So the last thing I want to do is come to an event and make people feel less than me. I actually want them to feel more than me. So I think that's where, like, a lot of my colleagues who make people feel this way, I feel like this is where we find our success, is by lifting others up. And I think that should be the way in every field, right? Not just Zumba, but in everything.
Granted, that's amazing. Even right now, when you're expressing yourself, you're still being humble of who you are and what you bring to the Zumba community. Um, but getting to know who Izzy is, tell us a little bit about who Izzy is and where Izzy comes from.
That's a very great question because I'm still trying to figure that out. But in seriousness, who is Izzy? Well, I mean, I'm just, I don't know, an easy, like literally no pun intended, but I'm very easygoing. I'm the type of person that believes, like what I want to do in life is I want to help coach people to be the best version of themselves and to believe that they can do anything that they put their minds to. And this is like a true, this is like my way of thinking ever since I was little. I've always strived to be better and everything that I put my heart to. And yeah, like that's, that's a good question. Honestly, you should have told me before this so I could prepare. But it's all about, I can get into this whole philosophical loophole, right? But anyways, I'm a true believer, and people can reach their dreams. The point, like a point, an example is, I don't come from the dance world. Again, I'm not a didn't come from taking class. I've never taken a dance class in my life. And when I found Zumba, I knew in that moment that was my calling. I don't know why or how, but it lit a spark in me. And I started taking classes, and because I believe that I could do something with it, even though I don't come from that background, that experience, here I am 14 years later. I think next year is going to be my 14 years teaching as an instructor. And now I'm traveling the world. Literally, I went to Asia in May. I did a whole tour out there. I did to 6 countries. And how
Oh
is it
wow!
that, yeah, like, how is it that this guy who has no experience in dance gets to travel the world, right? And I think I want to be that example for people that you can do anything you set your mind to. And because I feel like a lot of people don't know their passion, their purpose in life. And I really believe that every person has a superpower. There's something for everyone out there. They just got to find it. And the next big thing is taking that risk and owning it and saying, this is what I'm meant to do. No matter what obstacles life throws your way,
Hmm.
I can do this. And I want, this is who Izzy is. Like, the person that I am is, I like to tell people what their superpower is, get them to inspire them to, reach that max capacity in life, that reach the next level. So
No, that's amazing. That's amazing here. And I'll give you a little bit of feedback why I don't give questions ahead of time. So this program started off on Twitch during the pandemic, and we decided to move it over to the radio station, and now we're on YouTube as well. But we don't give any questions or anything ahead of time because we like to make it like it's called the hot seat, la silla caliente. Put you, and have you be comfortable, but at the same time, give you those little moments that are going to make you think. Because if you already know what you're going to talk about, you're just living the moment. But if you're given a bit of a curveball, like we have, I've had people walk off, I've had people cry, I've had people call me afterwards and beg me for a round two, just because it's different, and I like doing things differently. You can turn around and have a conversation with anybody on any given moment, but not everybody's going to be willing to ask you that one question or that awkward moment that's going to be like, oh, now what do I say?
yeah.
So it's just a little different. We try not to push buttons because there are certain things that you have to keep to yourself in private, and then there's other things that people would like to know, and we ask the questions. I mean, gotta be unique in
Yeah,
everything
no, I,
we do.
I love it. Like I told you, now I have like this existential crisis. Now I'm thinking, who is it? I can go back and reflect on that.
There you go. Um, married, single, partnered
I'm
up.
married right now. I met my wife through Zumba. So, yeah, Zumba event in Italy. I went out there to do this charity event, and I came back. Well, I came back with a girlfriend. Yeah, I met her in the crowd. I'm like, who's this girl here? She's actually back right there. She's she's hiding behind that tree, but she's real. I promise, she's real. Yeah, but yeah, I met her in a Zumba event, and now we're here. We're living in San Jose together. Yeah, so married.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Is it competitive in California, or is it just as it was? It is here that there's a lot of camaraderie amongst the Zins.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I don't know exactly. Like, I don't think there's exactly like I'm new to the area. But from
Okay.
what I've seen, the community is very supportive, especially of the Zen Jam program. A lot of presenters come through here, so their jam sessions fill up pretty quickly. And so I think there's a lot of teamwork among the instructors to make really big events here. I really believe that California, like Zumba in California, is the biggest there is in US, or one of the biggest. That's one of the reasons why I moved out here, because there was a lot of opportunities for both myself, who, I'm a Zumba instructor, and also my wife. She used to work at Ducati in the tech industry.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's why I moved to California. A lot of opportunities. And, but going back to your question, I don't think there's a lot of of that. Again, I'm new to the area, but it's always sad to hear when there's a lot of competition. But listen, like, that's just the normal thing of life. Like, no matter what you do, what field you're in, you're always going to be competing with somebody. Even if you don't want to compete, life is a competition. And I mean, the thing is you got to make your competition friendly, right? It's not about getting nasty, because again, this is like the coaching Izzy coming in, and I really believe that there's a piece of pie for everybody. The problem is that people just want the entire pie, and I just want a slice of it. So, but yeah,
No, that's good. That's good. It's good to hear that because you do hear in other businesses and other parts of. I want to say I want to say it's the sports that it turns a little bit ugly within the communities. But that is something I've noticed in the Zumba community, at least from my experiences. It's either they're very tight and accepting and open, or you're here, we're here, that's it. And it's nice to hear that, especially from somebody out in California, to hear that it's open, that there's opportunities there for other
for sure.
instructors,
Yeah,
for other people.
for
That's
sure.
amazing to hear.
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity to create a choreography for any artist, have them approach you and say, you know what, I'm so and so. I want you to create the choreography for this song. And we're going to feature you in the album. We're going to feature you in the video as the choreographer. But it has to be, we want Zumba out of this. We want it to become a phenom in the Zumba community. What artist would you like that to be?
Of course, it has to be like Zumba Latin, right? So Daddy Yankee, of course, would be awesome, right? Daddy Yankee. Um, like a reggaeton Don Omar would be great. I know, like, recently we seen did a collaboration with
Mhm.
Zumba. I don't know if you heard the song. I think it's called Dime. It just came out in our Zin volume. And so that'd be great to have an opportunity like that. I also I like K-pop a lot, but just in Zumba. Like, and for whatever reason, the girlier the K-pop, it just comes out so good. I don't know why, but I bring them to my workshops. I swear, like, I can, like, the guy K-pop comes out good, but when it's like super girly K-pop, people just eat it up in my jam sessions. They really like it. So I think, like the latest song, the Apata, right?
Yeah,
Like Bruno Mars, right? Like I would love to do something with Bruno Mars, but I don't know if I have the skills, I would say, like the hip hop R&B vibe to myself, but we can always make some modifications there. But I'd love to do like K-pop choreo too with Blackpink. Why not? Let's do it.
definitely. Now, if you had your own designer come up and say to you, "Okay, what do you want? How do you want your outfit to look at? What would you want out of that?"
You know what? I am very my fashion sense is not the greatest. I'm very like t-shirts, jeans type of guy. Like I grew up in New Mexico, Los Lunas, New Mexico. I don't know if you know where New Mexico is. Do you know where New
Yes,
Mexico is? Right next to Texas. A lot of people don't know, like here in the US. So, there's not like a big fashion scene out there. And so I was always just
unfortunately,
like a
not.
very
You're right.
basic, like jacket, sneakers, jeans, right? And then I come into the world of Zumba and everyone's so fashionable. So, but if I had an outfit though, like when I go and present, I had to show off my arms. Like I noticed that you gotta highlight your best features, right? So if you see me teaching at an event, most of the time you'll see me like sleeveless. Definitely, I'll have like some sort of like long pants because my legs are not the best. My calves are definitely not the best feature of me, unfortunately. And I don't know, some really cool sneakers. I think that's like my go-to outfits. Just very basic, but it's very like clean. I guess my
Hmm.
fashion choice would be like very clean, simple looking.
Awesome. Do you still recommend people take the course to become a Zen?
Absolutely. It's the only way, right? To become a Zoom instructor. I think there's a lot of potential, right? Like I said, this is my full-time job. I'm teaching Zumba full-time. And I think it would be a great either like main job for people if they want to do that, or even like a side hustle. You want to bring extra money while you're making people happy at the same time. It's a great way to make that extra income, lots of benefits within the program itself. So I think if people are on the fence about it, they should do it right now. And I have a code, 75% off your training before December 8th. So if you're
Mm,
thinking about it, you're watching the show right now, you want to become a Zoom instructor, hit me up. I'll hook you up and I'll change your life.
there you go. There you go. So we'll definitely put that link up for you guys to take advantage of that opportunity because you just never know. Have you ever had any rough experiences or bad experiences at any event?
Whew. Yes, of course. I mean, I've been doing this for 14 years, so you're bound to have some interesting things happen. I won't say names or places, but I remember I went in for a workshop and the room they had me in was not suitable to have a workshop in. To give you some background to the story, I show up and I go look at the place one day before, and the place is really small. Mind you, our workshops have 37 people in it. So there was two rooms to this studio. It was like a boutique studio. There was one room, but it had like this wall right down the middle. So you couldn't see, like if I were to do the presentation, I would have right and left and this wall right in the middle. So they couldn't see each other, but I could see, but I would have to stand like in one spot, right? And then the other room was smaller and it was like in the shape of a jigsaw puzzle. So, anyways, I was like, oh yeah, like we'll make it work, but I was really nervous. Well, the day comes and all 37 instructors show up. Usually, like you'll have like five, four, three that don't show up, right? So it's fine. But all 37 people show up, and it was a nightmare to say the least. Like I had never been so anxious in my life. We tried to fit everybody in the first room. We couldn't even fit. Like we were literally like neck to neck, like shoulder to shoulder. Then we went to the other room, and it was just like everybody was like mad, right? So you could feel the tension in the room.
Oh yeah.
So that was an experience. So that really changed. You know, I always make sure I put in my contracts like the room has to be big enough to fit X amount of people, right? And but other than that, not really. Like not too many. I have really good hosts like Phil. So
Yeah, I'll give it to Phil. He stresses out to make sure that you guys get a good room for everything. He had one event where the audio guy canceled last minute on him,
ooh,
and
that's not good.
he didn't know that I was in the city because I moved from Toronto to Ottawa, and he says to me, "Help me." Okay, let's figure it out. Last minute, and he pulled it off. But there have been some moments that we have seen. We had one instructor that was, for lack of better words, he was a diva,
Mm,
and in any industry you'll have that one or two that puts a bit of a hesitation on things. But no, you were a trooper when you came up here. Unfortunately, we didn't have all the information, and we didn't have all the proper cabling at the time. And most of the time, it doesn't matter what industry we're working with or we're doing audio with, the main artist would have a fit if this
mm.
was them. You just stay nice and calm and cool and be like, okay, we'll make it happen one way or another.
You know why? Is because I have a saying, and the saying is the show must go wrong. The show must go wrong, and you just have to deal with it.
I like that. I
Right? I
like
mean,
that.
like in anything, like any type of performance, it's impossible to get everything perfect. But you know what? When you told me this information though, like I felt calm because I knew it was gonna work out. Like I had this feeling like everything's gonna be good. And look, it turned out great.
Yeah.
We made a great team. So
No, it
perfect.
was amazing. It was amazing. And yeah, afterwards, Phil and I talked. He said to me, "Oh my god," I said, "Yeah, relax. One way or another, we'll make it happen." And I said to him, "Is he okay?" He says to me, "He's performing. He's happy." So no, it was nice, and it was nice to have that. Like I said, we deal with a lot of different aspects when we're doing audio, whether it's with Zumba or a concert or sometimes even just models.
Mm.
And yeah, yeah. But no, I'm glad everything worked out that night. What has been your favorite city to visit so far?
Ooh, my favorite city, Hawaii has a very special place in my heart. I love
Okay.
my Hawaii Ohana. They're amazing. If you've never been to Hawaii, I highly recommend you go and do Zumba out there. The community is the best I've ever seen. Seriously, the community
Really?
is really great. Everybody supports each other. You'll find like if you go to somebody's class, you'll have like 10 instructors in the class at minimum, right? And yeah, the community out there is just one of a kind, amazing. And Hawaii's Hawaii, like the
Yeah.
beaches, right? The food, the culture. I mean, it's you come back with your cup half full again. So if you
Okay.
need a like refresh something, Hawaii is 100% my favorite choice, my favorite city.
Okay.
Well, I
Perfect.
mean, like favorite, that's my the state, right? But my, Honolulu, I guess you could say is the place. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's cool. Um, is there a city you don't want to visit again?
Ooh, you know what? I can't answer that question because, like they're not gonna
No,
contract
no,
me. They're gonna be like, we don't want to be in Izzy's do not visits. I will say, no, I can't say because,
no. That's fine. That's fine. I
for
mean,
reasons, yeah.
like I said,
But there are places definitely that I would, maybe like if it was somebody else hosting me. But yeah, I think it's more about the experience itself, not necessarily the city itself.
mhm.
But without saying too much, yeah, there's definitely cities that I would not go back to.
Okay, no, no.
That's the
We'll respect
diplomatic
that.
answer.
Sometimes we need to be, especially this day and age. Now, speaking of politics, which I normally don't get into, but seeing what you guys are going through in the States right now, and you can plead the fifth on this one. I'm telling you right off the bat. How do you feel about President elect, and how are you feeling with what's coming up? Again,
You
you can plead the
know,
fifth.
again, yeah. So when it comes to Zumba, there are two things I try to stay away from: religion and politics. And yeah, like all I can say is there's gonna be, again, diplomatic answer here. My job is very diplomatic, let me tell you. Very diplomatic.
Definitely.
Like everything you have to, that's the one thing like, just, getting off topic. When you get into this position, right, where people start to follow you and they like to see everything that you do. So I'll be honest, like, maybe this is something good so people can know, but sometimes I feel like I can't be not my genuine. I'm always genuine, but I have to be careful what I do and say, because you give people, what's the saying? You give them a yard and they'll take a mile, right? So they'll, like, you say one little word or a phrase of words and they'll take it and they'll make it like this whole thing, because they put your life in a under a magnifying glass, right? They think they know you based on what they see of you, but they don't really know you, right? And again, I'm just Izzy, living here in California. I sleep, eat just like everybody else does. But going back to that question, I think there's going to be a lot of changes. I can definitely feel the tension from a lot of people here. So all I can hope for is that, positive change comes in this next 4 years. I mean, that's all we can hope for, right? And that's my answer.
No, no,
Yeah.
that's fair. Like I said, you can plead the fifth on that one. Um, I've been dying to ask this to somebody in your position for a very long time. Will we ever see an Izzy power bar?
An Izzy power bar? Is that what you said?
Yes, an energy
Power bar.
bar.
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that. This show's changing my life, honestly. Yeah, why not? Izzy power bar, Izzy merchandise, the shoes, sneaker, oh yes, yeah, shoes, shirts, everything. Let's do it. I want to ask you a question. Would you buy an Izzy power bar?
Hell yeah,
I like
we would
that.
we would support it. That's
Yeah.
one thing we have here. The entire team that works with us, we support anybody we interview. We support. Doesn't matter if it's another program that's interviewing. If doesn't matter if it's a mom and pop shop. We all show support because at the end of the day, we all start somewhere low and we want to grow.
Mm,
So why not give the love that we want from everybody else to everybody that comes across us? So
I love
it's
that.
we're a little different that way because we've had restaurants come in here and they're like, "Oh my god, how much do I have to pay for this?" No, we're here to help you. We want you guys
Mm,
to grow because once you've got your chain of restaurants going, you're gonna turn around and say, "You know what? I'm gonna do exclusives with you. I'm gonna
mm,
do this with you." The same thing with artists. We've interviewed artists. I've been in radio for 20 years now.
wow.
And I literally artists that I started with before were who they are now, we give them the opportunity. And now they follow us and ask us to do things for them. So you know
That's
what?
cool.
I'm a strong believer of having people that are willing to work and grow and respect each other.
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, if you're gonna be somebody, I'm gonna help you out and I'm gonna be there for you, and you're gonna turn around and one day turn around and say, you know what, that person did this and this against me. I'm gonna have proof that I haven't. First of all, second of all, that's your prerogative. But you know what? I've only had one person ever do that in my career in radio, and realistically, thank you because you're still talking about me. So do your thing. But
Yeah,
yes, if you were to go put merch up, if you were to, I can guarantee you at least two of the girls here would buy your shoes.
yeah.
Guaranteed. If you were to start doing energy power bars, guaranteed at least three of the guys would pick it up, and it would become a staple to have here because it's what we do. There's a local bakery that we interviewed not too long ago. Every Friday, one of us in the office goes and picks it up so that everybody here has something. And
Mm,
it's not because they're obligating us or giving us a deal. No, I don't believe in that. I'm going to support you because I want to support you.
I like
So
that. I like
definitely,
that a
if you were
lot.
to put something out, I can guarantee you we would put it up on our sites. We would promote it, and we would definitely push it as much as possible to make sure you get what you deserve out of it.
Mm, I like that. I like, you know what I like what you said. I'm gonna support you because I want to support you, and that there is so cool because I know a lot of people who support, but but then it's like, okay, now what are you gonna do for me? And it's like it doesn't work that way, right?
Nope.
Like support things you like to do without expecting anything in return. So
Exactly.
thank you for saying that.
Definitely. No, no. Like I said, if this does come to fruition, let us know. We'll push it. That's no problem at all. That's without a
Nice.
doubt.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I know. That's even when I tell Phil, come out with something that's your own, man. Do it. I will support you. I will push. I hear part of the concept of Radio Que Rico has always been from day one. We're nobody. We're humans, and we're here to help.
Mm,
You need our help, we'll help you. Here, no, I'm Mexican, I'm Bolivian, I'm Chileno, I'm from Guatemala. No, here we're Latinos.
mm,
You don't like it, you can't be part of the community.
exactly.
You can't be part of who we are, and it's not because we don't believe or want to work or no. It's none of that. It's that we're all equal. There's no you're the boss, you're this, you're that. No, we're equal. We're all here to work. We're all
Mm,
here to give our 2 cents. We're all here to make sure that you know what your cousin, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your whatever needs help, and we can do it. Let's do it. What's it
mm,
gonna hurt? At the end of the day, and this is how I personally was brought up from my grandparents. Do it because you want to do it. Don't do it
mm,
because you can expect anything in return. And if you're gonna expect anything in return, don't do it all at all because
mm.
you're gonna hurt somebody or you're
Yeah.
gonna hurt yourself. So yeah, no, definitely, mi hermano. Anytime, whenever any of your stuff comes out, let us know. If you're back in Ottawa, you know you can count on us for whatever it is. That's without a doubt. Even in
Thank you.
Toronto, if there's something we can do for you while you're there, let us know. We've been in the industry. We know a lot of people down there, and a lot of people don't know this, but one of our offices is located in Toronto. So we'll
Nice.
definitely,
Well,
definitely push out for you guys.
thank
That's
you.
without a doubt.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate that support.
your vibe is amazing. I'll say it again. When we met you, there was no negative. There was no I'm gonna get mad. There was no who do you think you are, or as my son laughs, oh you're the DJ. And when we were talking during the event, he says to me, "You're gonna interview him?" I'm like, "Yeah, we got to try this. We got to see if we can get an interview with him." Because honestly, you were humble about it. You were amazing how you ran the crowd.
Thank
Yes, a
you.
lot of instructors have that they can control the crowd, but the crowd was with you. If you jumped, even though it had nothing to do with what was going on, they were jumping with you.
Yeah.
If you made a mistake, well, they were with you.
Yeah.
And we've seen enough events that were there's instructors that don't make a mistake and they're like, that doesn't make sense. What are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like I said, it's refreshing to meet somebody like you that's so humble and so real about what he does, and he's so committed to it. Because I was watching your videos, I was watching, I did a little bit of research just to get a bit of an understanding who it is the Zumba instructor is.
Mm.
And everywhere that you go, all you see is smiles, and they're genuine because you
Hmm.
can tell when there's a fake smile.
Hmm.
And every single one of your videos, they're genuine people that are enjoying your presence. What do you contribute that to?
Um, Again, I think it's just like my personal philosophies, right? I think do good, and good will come right back to you. And there, the dance, right? Dance is so, it's an art, and it's the one thing, like, for example, you take a hit workout, you're doing the movements, right? But in dance, you really have to connect with the music, the movements, but also the energy. So same in the other workouts, right? The energy of the instructor matters, but in dance it's a little different because there's that connection, like I said, with moves and music, and also the energy. And the difference here is that people are not only going to pick up your coaching, but they also can perceive who you really are when you dance, because when you dance you put yourself in a vulnerable sort of state where you have to open up so people can connect with you. So if you don't open up, then there's going to be that barrier between you and your students. And so you really have to make yourself vulnerable and have them connect really almost with your soul. I know maybe I sound a little crazy, but it's true. And I think when people can read, they can see like, okay, this person's good because I can feel their energy. Or this person, even though they're smiling on the outside, there's something funky going on here. And because I've been through times in my life where I'm not all smiles. There's times in my life that are hard, but people don't know because I'm not a very private person.
Mhm.
And I can definitely tell the difference when I'm in a good state of mind, doing good, versus those times where I taught really bad classes. And it wasn't because I didn't come prepared to class or because, I didn't have good sleep. It's because there was something going on in my life that didn't align with what I was saying I was as a person, right? So, and I know my students could feel that. Like, I felt like really just off, right? And so, yeah, dance, that's why I like it. It's like a spiritual thing too. And I grew up very spiritual. I mean, maybe my people don't know this, but I pray every single night. I don't like to tell people this because, I think your relationship with God should be something that should be private. People, you shouldn't be putting out there like, oh, I do this and this. And because, it's not about what you say you do, it's what you do in private that matters, right? The person who you are behind closed doors, that's who you really are. And I, again, going back to my point, sorry, I ramble a lot, but and that's, that's dance is very spiritual. So yeah, people can pick up on those things. That's why I always do my best to not only take care of my body, but take care of my spirit. And I think that is what really, you know matters the most. Again, have a good relationship. I mean, if you don't believe in God, the universe, right? Or connect with something bigger than you. Because, as you know, I like personally don't find it like a coin. Like, I see little things in life, and you're telling me because of this random chain of events, everything is so like you see like how the trees take sunlight from the sun and then they turn it into sugar, and then they, like, just as an example, like there's so many I promise I don't do drugs, but it's like all the little like things in life. It's so perfect. Like the eyeball is so like perfect so that you can see. You have eyelashes so that the sun doesn't come into your eyes. Like we're so like perfect the way the humans are, that you're telling me that there is no greater being out there. There's no artist. There's no life is just random. But yeah. Anyways,
No, you know what?
but
You're
anyways,
preaching to the
but I
choir.
think I contribute. Going back to your question, I think I contribute. Do good, be a good person, and people can pick up on that, and I think the rest will follow. Yeah.
Well, normally on the hot seat, we ask you a bunch of questions right off the bat and put you in a hard place, in an uncomfortable position.
I feel like I'm
But I
in
think we've already done that.
the psychological, like I'm being shrinked right now. You know, not shrinked, but like I, it's just like well, it's like a conversation, right? So, you know, like we get off topic, but
Mhm.
this is how conversations really are
No, no,
in
that's fine.
reality. Yeah.
Yes, you're being real. So we're gonna bypass that. We're gonna bypass the hard questions, not because I don't want to, but because I don't believe that it's necessary. I believe you've been very open and you've been more than willing to answer things that most people would just get very squeamish about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so what I do want to ask of you though is something very, very special that we do here. I'm going to leave the camera all on you. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes, whatever you need. Give your fans, your audience, some words of advice, something from your heart, something meaningful from you.
I can start anytime.
Whenever you're ready.
I want you to believe in yourselves, and anything that you set your mind to, you can make happen, and trust the process. Trust that intuition. I think we all have it inside of us, and don't let anything or anyone tell you what you can and can't do in this life. You're amazing, and own it. And that's it.
Bueno, mi gente, this has been La Silla Caliente with the one and only Izzy Cervantes. Thank you for taking the time because I know you're very busy. And thank you for being the human being that you are. It's
Thank you.
amazing to meet people like you, come across people that are so humble, so real, and so willing to be understanding, so willing to trust, not only in the process, but trust in what's coming to you. Trust in, and as much as my cohorts are going to kill me for this, trust that there's something greater that's motivating and keeping you where you are and guiding you to where you need to be. It's nice to hear that. It's nice to see somebody at your age be ready and be willing to help. It's nice to see somebody turn around and be so true about what their love is, their passion is, and willing to show his spouse. 'Cause a lot of people are scared to show their spouse nowadays. Maybe we'll have her on one of these days and interview her. You never know.
She's
But
a lot more interesting than I am. I'll tell you that. So
that we all tend to say that. But definitely, after the recording, we'll talk about that. That's something that, especially since she's a Zen and we're doing a couple of weeks on just instructors right now.
no, she's not as a
Why not?
member.
Not yet.
No, not ever.
Really? Okay. 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 Okay.
That
That
honestly,
definitely will be
that's why
something to look
I
into.
like her, because she cannot, where when Zumba ends in my day, there's no more Zumba, right? Because she's not an instructor, so we don't talk about Zumba no more.
Well, nice. Yes, that's that. It's nice not to have to talk about work. Oh my lord, yes, it's nice. But again, thank you very much for your time, sir. Thank you
Thank
much
you.
for blessing us with this. And hopefully Mr. Phil can agree to bring you back sooner than later and in a bigger place than where you were, because I think the demand is definitely there for Izzy in Ottawa.
Thank you so much for believing in me. I appreciate it.
Guaranteed. Mi gente, as usual, before I take off, I'm going to give you guys a couple of words. Don't ever believe you're not who you are, and don't ever believe that you're not valued for who you are. At the end of the day, the value that you have is the value that you give yourself. Remember, you're all special. We all mean something to someone. And more importantly, we mean something to ourselves. When you look in the mirror, remember to look at yourself with love, with grace, with patience, and to give yourself the patience that nobody else in the world wants to give you. Because it doesn't matter what the world wants, it doesn't matter what the world has. What matters is what you have and where you are. And more importantly, smile. Because, like we tell each other here in the office every single day, damn, you're a sexy bitch. Own it, love it, live it. And we'll see you guys next week, mi gente. Esto fue La Silla Caliente. Izzy Cervantes was our guest this week. Thank you to everybody. And we will see you guys when you least expect it. Don't forget to give that love to everyone. And more importantly, come out to the Zumba events. I guarantee you, you're going to love it.